Week 3 of the Rhode Island League in the books, and we have 3 undefeated teams that are still remaining. And 2 of those teams are going to face off next week in Week 4 in a finals rematch. But first, let's break down Week 3, and we are joined by some of our analysts. Let's say hi to them really quick. We are joined by Shane. What's up?
What's up? Good morning, everyone.
And Fox.
How's it going, guys? Ready to break down some games.
Yeah, let's do it. And so let's start with the closest margin from Week 3. It was the halfway Crooks and the Duyes boys. Duyes boys do get the win 79-78. And Shane Patrick three-pointer was enough in the final minute to give the Duyes boys the win. Guys, what'd you guys see from that one in the box score?
So, just a brief overlook. Both teams had 4 players score double-digit points. So it just shows, how many contributors there truly were in this game. If you look at the Duyes boys, it was a little bit more lopsided, whereas their best players were scoring a lot more compared to their lower scorers. Plus just that depth. That's always going to be a factor in these Crooks games. That depth is just huge.
Yep, and so finally had a sub, which was nice for the halfway Crooks. But as you see the Duyes boys there, John Kutu, Zach Tartaglia doing their thing. Shane Patrick, 12 points there and 2 threes. So when he's stretching the floor, he's important for them. And again, they had their full team running. When we take a look at the halfway Crooks, 10 threes, that was huge. And 60% shooting, but ultimately not enough. I do want to see the rebounding numbers, 21, 14, but that even feels a little off. I know we had some Twitter stuff like people were missing rebounds. Either way, it was the size of the halfway Crooks versus the depth and the guard play of the Duyes boys. And ultimately, they make a 3, and get a big block on that final possession. And that is enough to get the win. New player, Kevin McCartney, leading the way. He'll be a player for you guys to keep an eye on going forward. And let's get this back to me over here while we get ready for the next game. And so Duyes boys get on the board 1-2 on the year, but they've played some really close games, and the halfway Crooks fall to 0-3. I think our other close game, yes, was also very early on. Island Time and the Stampede. Some stuff goes down. It goes into overtime when it really shouldn't have. But the team, I guess you could say, who should have won, did win. Even though they just wanted to play some, free basketball, for fun. But Island Time does get their first win, 66-61, and the Stampede was 2-0, I believe. And so now they fall to 2-1. That's their first loss. How was Island Time able to get the win?
Yeah, that was quite the ending. I think Austin Barkley stole the inbound pass for the Stampede and then shot a corner 3, and Jeff Winchell, I believe, for some reason decided to block the shot, and it was a clear goaltend and counted as a 3, so it went to overtime. Don't know what he was thinking, but he really made up for it. He was really dominant. I was really kind of surprised at how poor Stampede played. John Peterson had a poor shooting night, and it was really surprising because they started off 2-0, but some of their early games were really easier. But I don't know. I think really only having 5 players kind of really hurts them, as it clearly should. Just really don't have the depth to do it, so it's kind of hard. Obviously, you get really tired, and going into overtime, that really doesn't help. And Mike Wilbur, doing his thing, knocking down those deep threes for Island Time, and they looked really good.
Yeah, Fox, anything on that about Island Time?
Not to take anything away from Island Time, but what he said, the Stampede just really didn't seem to show up, and Island Time capitalized by hitting shots when they needed to.
Yeah, and both teams, as you can see here, that's what I was kind of checking out on the screen. Not the best shooting night. You mentioned John Peterson, 0-6 from 3, so that's not something we're used to. But, hey, Island Time is able to get the win. And let's drop out of that really quick. We'll move on to our another game. We'll kind of just go in order. The rest of these, a little wider of margins. We'll just go right in order. Lob City and Goodfellas. Lob City 3-0. One of those undefeated teams gets there by beating the Goodfellas, 83-57. And, you guys were mentioning Victor Kashu Jr. and Cody Crawford were really the keys to this game.
Yeah, no, early dominate. I think it was also last week, Lob City shut down the halfway Crooks in the second quarter, and they did the same thing with the Goodfellas this week, only giving up 7 points. And that's really where they separate themselves, is going into halftime. They create that big lead with their defense, and these other teams have to just try and stretch the floor. And with the Goodfellas, MJ Notarani obviously being their go-to, he puts a lot more pressure on him. And Lob City, being the champions as they are, they got the experience, they have the talent, so they're just able to capitalize on these teams having to try and force shots and try and come back, and they're able to get out in transition and really dominate.
Yeah, and with Lob City, it really, teams can play with them for a quarter, for a half. We're starting to see that more and more, where you can do it for a little while, and then ultimately that run comes, and it's how you respond to that run, against the better teams. And, Lob City, we mentioned 2 of those undefeated teams are going to be playing next week. They'll be taking on Boom Shakalaka, who was able to take down the Werewolves this week. Boom beats the Werewolves 85-72. And, no Dave Campbell. He's out with a knee injury for the season for the Werewolves. So it was Brian Heston and Gino Forti, but Boom Shakalaka too much, and it was some of their usual faces, leading the way.
So, yeah, I mean, the Werewolves had a chance right up to the end to kind of – it seemed like they were never fully out of it, but they just weren't able to close the margin to within a reasonable enough distance for them to fully bring it back. So it seemed like they just kind of fell behind, and they were always just nipping at the heels, like just not quite able to make that next step.
Yep, and as you can see here with Boom Shakalaka, we mentioned those usual suspects, but Jose Mercado, only 34. We kind of mentioned that before we went on there. It's a down night for Jose. But Lucas Martin, 6 3-pointers. He was kind of part of the reason the Werewolves were never able to come back. They would kind of make a little run, and then it appeared, it was Lucas Martin hitting a deep 3 that was keeping them, at bay. And check out his interview. Very, very bold from Lucas, just having fun with it. It's like, yeah, we're the best team in the league. And, just making fun of the whole situation. But Boom Shakalaka 3-0. We'll take on Lob City next week. We'll preview that matchup a little later on. Let's go. We have 3 games left. We'll go to Good U taking down the Boston Blazers, 87-70. And I think that was 2 more. Were the Blazers undefeated coming in?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, again, 2 undefeated teams facing off. This week, Good U does improve to 3-0. We mentioned they were missing some guys, but still able to get the win.
Yeah, pretty good, really good performance from Good U. I mean, no Brad Van Fetchman and Matt St. Hours, and they still took care of business really easily. And it was just a really impressive performance. They're really showing out so far, obviously being a newer team, but they were really dominant. Nick Messier, he played his first game last week, and he really struggled, but he got it going. I mean, 6 threes, 25 points. That was so huge with missing 2 of their better players. And then Ryan Palumbo's really emerged, obviously second, really dominant performance last week, and then followed it up this week with 27 points. So Good U's looking really good, and I don't see a lot of weaknesses in them. So we're gonna see how they go forward. And obviously the Boston Blazers being one of the better teams, and Good U made it look really easy against them.
Yeah, Fox. Anything else on Good U?
So yeah, he talked about Ryan and Nick just dropping 27 and 25. But also, if you take a look at the rebounding numbers, the Blazers got out-rebounded 36-21. So just a show of dominance inside that just really helped Good U along.
Yeah, for sure. We kind of checked out Good U's schedule, before coming on the air. They are going to face off against Boom Shakalaka and Lob City. So we will get to see our 3 undefeated teams all play each other, which is going to be fun. Going to make for a fun regular season. Let's go to the Ozone boys, who were able to get their first win in week 3, 79-55 over the Shady Dunkers. Yeah, I mean, what impressed you guys about the Ozone boys? And that first win's the hardest. So it's behind them now, and they were definitely, having fun with it.
So, yeah, the Ozone boys didn't seem to want to take a shot or lay anything up. They wanted to dunk every single possession, I'm pretty sure. And, I mean, they were able to do it a good amount. They were getting out in the break, just pure dominance getting inside. Just their size just was no match. I mean, the Shady Dunkers had a few players who were able to hit some threes, take some good shots, score some points. But overall, the Ozone boys just were able to pound it inside and get easy dunks.
Yeah, I thought the Ozone boys looked really good. It seemed like, they're starting to click. Obviously, Shady Dunkers and Ozone boys, 2 of the younger teams in the league, but I thought the Ozone boys looked pretty good. And like Fox said, they had 6 of their 8 players were scoring in double digits. So just to have that kind of scoring depth, makes it really difficult for Shady dunkers to try and compete with them. So I thought the Ozone boys looked really good.
Yeah, for sure. And another team that looked really good this week, the Bucket Chasers, 114-59. They take down the Basket Hounds. And, I didn't see too much of this game, but, 114 points by anybody, is impressive. I mean, it matters who you're playing, but 114 points is a lot. What did they do this week to be so successful on offense?
Well, Kevin Figueredo, that goes a long way. His size was no one on the Basket Hounds could match up with him, and so he just really dominated inside. And the Bucket Chasers were doing 2 4-man rotations, so Kevin Figueredo only played 2 quarters, so he scored 43 points in 2 quarters. So in 16 minutes, that's quite efficient. But he was just dominating inside. He was just so big, athletic, and no one could match up with him. So he really dominated. And I mean, to only give up 5 points in the second quarter, that goes a long way into creating that large margin. And it was just easy from there for the Bucket Chasers.
Yeah, we touched on those huge, second quarter runs for Lob City. I guess that's kind of the key, right? If you can get through that first quarter and kind of pick it up, it's going to be huge. And all right, so let's cut this out of here. That is all 7 Week 3 matchups. Let's preview what is going to be the game of the week. I'll ruin it. Lob City taking on Boom Shakalaka in Week 4 in a finals rematch. JK, finals rematch from 2 seasons ago. Sorry, Werewolves. That was not intentional, I swear. Those teams have played in the finals like the past 3 seasons before that. So nearly a throwback finals rematch, but 2 of our undefeated teams this season. What are you guys looking forward to in Lob City versus Boom Shakalaka?
So I'm interested in seeing what they end up trying to do to stop Jose Mercado. Because, Lob City has a lot of size. There's a lot of different ways that they could approach this game. And it's just going to be interesting to see what defensive approach they choose. Because if they can shut down Jose Mercado, that's a huge start to being able to take over this game.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how, like Fox said, like the defensive strategy that Lob City goes with. I see Nuri Mahmoud is really big inside, so it's going to be interesting to see how Jose Mercado goes against a bigger guy like that inside when he drives. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jose Mercado, it's a different look for him. It's a lot bigger guy and a really, the best team that they've played so far. So it's going to be interesting to see the depth of each team and see how they battle against each other.
All right, so let's make some picks and we can post this on Instagram and put you guys on the spot leading up to the game. But who's your early pick? And let's do like 3 words on why you think they're going to get the win. You guys ready?
Sure.
All right, Shane, so you're a winner, and then 3 words, my favorite.
I'm going to say Boom wins. Jose Mercado MVP.
Okay, very good. I like the game. All right, Fox?
I'm going to take Lob City, and I'm going to have to say just my 3 words would just be stop Jose Mercado.
Okay. So
that's all there is to it.
It's a lot of Jose Mercado on the post-game show, as always. When he's shooting it, it's tough because of how big and strong he is, and then he's making shots. You're like, well, this is going to be a long night, and that's how you get to 50. That's exactly how you get to 50 points. Guys, very good job. We will be back for Week 4. Thank you very much. Week 3 in the books, and 2 of those undefeated teams face off next week. We'll see you next week after those teams play for our next post-game show. Thanks for watching.